What you doing, RJ? I'll let you know. We are live. Let you know this shit's fire. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pendergast podcast on this beautiful Tuesday, Two-Wheel Tuesday evening, right? And listen, it's an honor to sit down with the legend Kevin Grimmel and his buddy RJ today on the podcast. But before we get into it, this episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial analysis today by Seth Starnes. Trust me, people, you're going to want to do that. It's painless, it's easy, and you'll thank me later. And listen, Kevin and RJ, I'll tell everybody this, right? Don't spend your hard-earned money on an off-the-rack suit when it's not going to fit 90% of it's perfect, right? When you have a suit that don't fit you perfect, it hinders all kinds of stuff on your motorcycle, right? Causes all kinds of issues. I recommend everybody go to bisontrack.com, get your full custom suit, tailored, measured, made specifically for you. You pick the colors, the logos, the patches, kangaroo, cowhide, chest protector. I got the gloves, the whole nine. Now they even offer boots. Not only are they some of the best in the business, right? Robert and Tasha are some of the most amazing people, and their son Carter you're ever going to meet in your life. And of course, their daughter Edith too, right? And the bunny. I can't forget the bunny. And Thor, of course, right? Kevin, come on. We all know who Thor is, right? So what I'm trying to say is you walk through Moto America paddock, you see a lot of women and men running around in bison, and there's an absolute reason for that, right? Plus, like I just got done saying, there's some of the most amazing people you're going to meet. There's the people I not only do I want to do business with, but I want to have a relationship outside, which speaks volumes of who they are. So listen, bisontrack.com. What are you guys waiting on? You hear me say it all the time. Let's freaking go. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's an absolute honor on this Tuesday, and it's been a long time coming. Me and Kevin been chat back and forth for a while to have the legend Kevin Grimmel and RJ on the podcast. What's going on, fellas?
Too much. Good evening.
Beautiful evening.
Good to be here.
Listen, man, absolute honor to have you gentlemen here. And listen, we already got a comment by the legend himself, Andrew Way. Let's go, Kevin. What is up, Andrew? Oh, man. So,
Andrew.
yeah, dude, Andrew's absolutely, dude. Him and his family are amazing people. But yeah, Kevin,
Absolutely.
Listen. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say absolutely. Andrew and I had an amazing time at the end of the year this year. Andrew and I did a lot of riding together. Ended up winning the lightweight team challenge at Daytona together this year. So actually, I was kind of support staff. He was the fast kid in the bunch.
I love it, man. I love
it.
But
yeah, we teamed up and had some good results this year.
Yeah, I seen the photos, and of course, our heart emojis, every single one of them. Our circus is so small, right? And everybody in it's beautiful. You know what I mean? And it's good to see everybody support the future legends of our sport, right? It's very important.
We have to do that. If we don't help and support the younger generation coming up, there's not going to be one. And we want our sport to continue. So we have to enable or do what we can to help those kids that are coming up to succeed or be better, and take any part of our knowledge and give it to them, so that hopefully teach them and to be good riders, good people, show the love to the whole community. You know, that's part of what we have to do. That's part of why RJ and I hooked up so much, is because he had all of this knowledge from all his years, and I just started listening to him and words of wisdom, and he got me into doing flat tracking, and we were riding together, and he said, "Hey, let's do this." And so we went out and got a new motorcycle together, and we went and raced some Moto America and had a blast. You know,
I love it, man.
Him passing his knowledge on to me, and which is what I try to do as well. You know.
I do, man. It's a beautiful story. It really is. And like I said, it was a absolute honor. I said this off camera, but people that I've never even listened. So Mid Ohio, Kevin was there. I knew he was going to be there, and I found him where his pit was. Ran up. I thought it was Kevin because I never met Kevin in real life. Right? We just talked back and forth on Facebook and text messages. And so I run up behind this guy, which is RJ. I was like, Kevin, what's up, man? Simcoe Pendergast, is honored to finally meet you. He's like, I'm not Kevin, I'm RJ. I was like, give me a big hug, right? So yeah, we got a big
That
hug
was
together.
awesome.
Yeah, dude. He said you was somewhere that you would be back, and we ended up finding each other in front of bisontrack.com.
I believe so.
Oh, absolutely, man. You and Andrew Berkeley, if I remember right.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Love it.
Andrew is a good friend and an awesome competitor for sure.
Yeah, dude. Freaking awesome, man. Awesome. John Scott says Kevin is 100. Yes, he is. And then
John
we got
Scott is great.
So does John race too, or track days, or
John used to work for DeLand Motorsports, and he helped me with some sponsorship stuff, and a good friend, and just one of those guys that helps you along the way. For us guys who are independents, you know, it's we garner our assistance from a lot of different places as we can, and John was one of the people that helped me out a ton, and still is very involved, or got involved in helping with my cousin or my niece, and helped her out a whole bunch as well. So good people, that guy.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. And then we got Alyssa, sorry, Cunningham says, hi guys. Hello, how you doing tonight? Thank you for joining and tuning in.
So it's all her fault.
It's all your fault.
It's all her fault. And she hates it when I tell this story, but
I gotta hear it.
So I had just finished a 16-year hiatus from riding motorcycles, because I needed to take some time off to be with my son and make sure that he was getting, you know, I wanted to make sure that I was there for him if he needed me. And then I got back and I bought a motorcycle, and after having it for about 6 months, Allie said, hey, we're going to go to the track. You want to go? And I was like, sure, why not? Never been to the track before. And that was when I was 47 years old. And so I went to the track with her, and that was pretty much the hook, set, hooked, and it was done. Bank account, say goodbye, you know.
Credit cards maxed out. Listen, we've all been there. Trust me. It's the best drug in the world.
She also pretty much takes care of most of the Free Hugs racing, the team. Absolutely. We call her Mama Bear, and she takes care of everybody. So
we love you, Mama Bear. Listen, I got this sweatshirt right here. I absolutely love it. I was just telling them I got it in the mail. My wife looks at me. She's like, you get all this cool free swag all the time, right? With custom with your names on it and all this. I was like, you love me, babe. Come here. Listen, Free Hugs, baby. Bring it on in. Bring it on in. It's awesome. Alyssa, we love you. Thank you so much. You are absolutely proper mega, as I tell all my friends, right? And then we got Stuart Lancaster. What is up, Stu? He says, Kevin, Andrew, their crew were right next to us at Daytona. Awesome group of people. Hope all is well, Kev.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us tonight, huh?
Absolutely. So listen, we need RJ. What is up, man? You're actually on the road right now, and where are you coming back from?
He went flat tracking.
A bit of
Hang on. You're breaking up there.
Did that to just
Up.
Yeah, I think
So-
we lost him.
He's up in the mountains. He went flat tracking today. over, I think the hot shoe. He went
He
over
said
to he
earlier, I
went over to
forgot.
Wade's. He went over to Wade's house and did
Columbia.
some flat tracking today.
Nice. I
So
love it. And listen, I have to give a big shout out
Yeah, man.
and a happy birthday to Diane. What is up, Diane? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Diane.
Absolutely. Nothing but love coming to you. Man, it's always an honor to meet Diane. Same thing. We always giving each other hugs. She's absolutely an amazing human being.
I have so many pictures of her and I from all over
Awesome
the
old
country.
Folsom racing.
Yeah.
Right?
The good old Diane selfies.
Bro, it's the first one we got together was
You've got to get him.
I'm listening, RJ. What'd you say?
I said you always got to get in selfies with Diane anytime she's in the neighborhood.
100%.
100%. 100%.
Diane, correct me if I'm wrong. It was Austin, Texas. It's been several years. First time I met my man Chris Tolick too, and his son. So big shout out to Chris and them. But yeah, it was in Austin, Texas, and yeah, I absolutely had to get a selfie and spend some time with her. She's yeah, and then we seen each other again in Wisconsin earlier in the year. So looking forward to seeing you again next year, Diane. 100%.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Let's freaking go. So listen, there's a whole lot to talk about, right? And there's no way we're going to be able to talk about it in this time that we have tonight. So you and RJ had a proper mega season. You was actually telling me about it before we went live. So I want to start off is how did you and RJ meet and how did all this come together?
We met riding up with the Cat Swamp Riders, which is a group that I started riding with when here in Florida, and RJ and I started riding together there and started talking and hanging out a little bit, and then we started going to the mountains, or I started going to the mountains with a group of guys, the Moto Mountain Riders, and a lot of those guys have been going for 25, 30 years up to North Carolina and ride in the mountains, and they go twice a year. And I think when I was riding with RJ and I had started racing at that point, and I was riding behind him, and like I was coming inside of a corner or something like that, and I got a little closer than I would have liked to him, not having ridden with him that tight before. And at the next stop, I said, "Hey, I apologize. I didn't mean to come inside. I hope I didn't spook you or anything like that." And he was like, and he just laughed at me, and said, "You're not going to spook me." And we just kind of got along after that, and just started hanging out and talking. And he introduced me kind of to doing flat track, and got me and did a lot of stuff as far as helping me get the forms down a little better and getting into doing flat track. And again, this is it. 52, I think he got me into flat tracking. So all this
Yeah.
is really late in my life that I'm starting to do this stuff, and it's how do you be a better rider? How can you cram years of track experience and all of that into a short amount of time? I'd always raced motocross as a kid and stuff, but it's how many different disciplines and how many different things can you do at one time, and put all those years into learning how to ride better and be on a track into a short period of time? Do it all the time, every weekend, all week, every weekend. How many disciplines can you do? Mini moto, motocross, flat track, road racing, all of it. Do it all. How's the bike move? What does it do differently? Learn how to do everything so that you can be better at what you do, which was road racing for me. And RJ just pushed me along the way, and him and I think very similarly about how to do that, and about we could like complete each other's sentences when we're talking about how to be on the track together. And it just worked really well. It really did. So him
Yeah, you did.
him pushing me and making me go in the right direction is really how we met. It was fun, just and smile the whole time.
It is
Um,
always fun. Yes, that's first and foremost, and then the technicalities of it. I'm a horrible influence on Kevin because I drug him into flat track racing. So there's that. But again, like he said, we have so many similarities. Even our lines that we choose on the track when we ride or we're teaching or whatever that is are almost identical. So it's very easy, and it was easy to work with Kevin. Uh, I've worked with a ton of riders over the years, some that listen, some that don't. Kevin was an absolute sponge, took everything to heart, and we just kept moving forward and having more and more fun doing what we did. And that really that makes the effort all worthwhile when you're working with somebody like that. So yeah, it turned into an amazing relationship as far as getting things accomplished and seeing successes.
I love it. I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, the legend himself, Eli Block is on. It's like, what is up, Eli?
How we doing?
Eli.
You know, Kevin's like a second father to me, so I wanted to hop on and be a co-host for this special night.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
like
So Kevin, he actually called me about an hour but before we went live. He's like, Simcoe, bro, first and foremost, how you doing? But you got Kevin on tonight. He's like a second dad. I want to co-host. And everybody knows Eli is always has a spot to co-host with me. I tell him that all the time, as well as all my friends do, right? Anybody that wants to come on and co-host, let's freaking go. But yeah, it's an honor to have you here, Eli, and of course Kevin and RJ. So now that we have Eli here, how did you two meet? Eli, you and Kevin and RJ, how did all three of y'all meet?
Oh, who wants to take this one away?
Well, I think actually I met Eric, Eli's dad, and
I love him.
we raced against each other at Roebling. I think is where we first started racing against one another. And he, of course, was on a motard, and I was on my 690 Duke. And they're very similar as far as horsepower and all the rest. And we just had a blast racing against each other, and we were banging off each other and just seriously having a blast racing, and started hanging out in the pits together. And from that, I met Eli. And then all of a sudden, Eli was at races and started hanging out with Eli. And I think it was at Pittsburgh, Eli,
Mm-hmm.
where we first started hanging out and just making sure, because I think it was his first trip by himself, or one of his first trips by himself that far away from home. And we just kind of took him under our wing, and anything he needed or whatever, again, helping that younger group be able to succeed so that their sport continues. So that's how Eli and I began.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and
RJ,
luckily,
how did you and Eli get together?
I
Roebling,
think
I think.
that was at Roebling, I believe, when we were up there running the armor races. I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah.
he's in the garage with us up there.
Yeah.
It's always a good time. I think, yeah, we met at Pittsburgh. No, you didn't make it to the Vintage Fest that year. That was because then the next time we hung out was at Roebling at the winter test.
Yeah, that was
it.
what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Either 2 or I think it was 2.
Okay, 2 years ago?
Because then last year I came down.
Yes, yeah. So Eli and I were talking, and his dad was talking, and he was worried about the fact that it gets cold where he lives in Connecticut, and he couldn't really do any training. So I talked to my wife Denise, who is a huge supporter of what we do, and we invited Eli to come down for a month and live with us so that he could train and We put him on flat track bikes. We took him out to the woods where he excelled and beat every one of us. We um just he was able to do all the stuff that he would have loved to have done up there, but he couldn't because of the weather. So again, just trying to help one of the younger generation be able to train and do what they need to do to continue to excel.
Oh, for sure. And that's one thing I try to tell everybody about our sport and our beautiful circus, right? There's no other sport or people you're ever going to meet to where you trust your everything, meaning your child, to not necessarily a stranger you've only met or talked to several times and not even worry about it. Like when I show up to a Moto America race, my son Rossi, he takes off and shit, I might see him 4 or 5 times that day, right? But I don't worry about him because everybody loves him and knows who he is. So I just don't, right? But I would never go to our state fair or wherever or even our mall and just let him go. Absolutely not, right? It just speaks volumes of who everybody is as an individual and who we are as a sport.
100%.
Agree 100%.
It's a staple every year. That's
Yep.
I look forward to going down the floor and hanging out with Mr. Grimmel. And, you know, as he said, you know, there's not many people, and there are a few people, but there's not many people that are willing to do the things that Kevin do for many kids. You know, I was joking around with him earlier today, and Andrew Way was riding his flat track bike last week. And I called him. I was like, hey, did he outperform me? Did he take my ride for this year? Damn it. And yeah, but there's like, you know, no matter what, Kevin will post on his Facebook every here and there, but when you see Kevin tagged on Facebook, it's usually for helping out a kid, having someone else ride his own bike. I think there's more videos or photos of people riding your own bike than you are, which is awesome.
Love it.
Well, how is it that these kids that are or who want to have to drive, have the desire, how are they ever going to find out unless you help them? And all of a sudden they find something else that they love, and it's, you know, much to their parents' chagrin, that it pushes them to be better all the way around. You know, then that's the goal that we have, is to have these kids be better, all they can be, to strive. If they have the willingness and the drive to do it, then let's help them do it. And I'm help Andrew or Eli or who, I don't care who it is. Let's you know, monetarily I can't do that, but I can certainly invite them into my house, or I can put them on one of my bikes and help them out that way. I can impart knowledge, though Eli probably imparts as much knowledge to me as I do to him.
We trade, fair trades.
We trade, you know, like I'm at Mid Ohio, and RJ and I are in there. We're talking about the track, and I'm like, I'm just not picking it up, and I don't know what to do. And I went in, I sat down with Eli, and he went over sectors and how he dissects the track, and comes up with where he can succeed and get better times and increase his speed, and because it's all about times, so that he can make himself a better rider. Let's attack the areas that we can and not worry about the areas we can't. And he really helped me learn how to do that, because with Moto America, you get 20 minutes on tracks that you don't know to learn the track. And then you have to qualify. And for me, that's like being within 110% of Tyler O'Hara, or, you know, you know, it's crazy. That you have to do these things and learn these tracks and be up to speed so quickly. And the Mid Ohio was the first time I really had to do that. And Eli helped me incredibly learn that track and get to the point where I could qualify. And I was like seconds under, you know, so kudos to him, and his way of thinking really helped me out. So it's, you listen and you glean knowledge where you can, and don't disregard it and from anyone. Listen to everybody, for sure. Thank you, Eli, by the way.
No, no problem. I
Be a
mean, I may
sponge.
look stupid. But in this small noggin of mine, it has been bounced off the ground a few times, but it retains some information that might be helpful.
No, listen, I met me and Eli real quick. We were friends on Facebook, and I finally met him I had him on the podcast and met him at Jersey, and he was one of the first the first ones to hook me up with my favorite memorabilia I've gotten, which is he gave me a full leather suit. It's actually behind all these t-shirts right now. I did have it hanging there. No, listen, there's a reason for that because I'm getting ready to rearrange my whole room right here because I got a lot of stuff there. Like, not only Eli, my friend, but a lot of other friends have given me some stuff too, and I want to display all their stuff, right? But yeah, and when I first met his dad, Eric, bro, it's like our energies, just like me and Eli's, was just like instantly matched, right? It's like we've known each other our whole lives, right? It was absolutely incredible. And yeah, every time I see him, it's nothing but hugs and laughs and good times, He's super fast. He's an absolute legend. And yeah, I can't wait to see Eli get that #1 plate in 2025, right? Same thing with you, Kevin, right? It's racing's our sport's so beautiful within it. Obviously, there's always highs and lows, right? Nobody ever pretty much has a perfect season, and nothing always goes everybody's way, right? But I'm proud of both of you guys, and what you guys accomplished is absolutely amazing to see, and it means everything, And I just want to say thank you for all the emotions you've given me throughout the whole season of watching you two do what you do, right? And I freaking love it, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for supporting all of us as well. Bring all the people, different people that you have on the podcast. It shows all of us and gives us a lot of insight on everybody. So.
Oh, no problem. It's an honor, dude. Absolute honor, right? But yeah, listen, dude, this I don't even know where to go with this. There's so much to talk about in every direction we can go, right? So you two met, right? And then you and RJ met. So we'll talk about each of y'all season. 2024, Kevin and RJ. Going into 2024 season, did you guys have any expectations coming in to Moto America, or were you guys just like, hey, we're going to show up, just have fun with it and see where we end up?
Well, we started off with a bike that I already had, and we were going to run the Moto America Hooligans air-cooled class. So I had this amazing XR 1200 that was all ready to go. It was beautiful. And in January, Moto America decided they weren't going to have the air-cooled class anymore. So we had very little time to do anything. So we decided we're going to run it. So we took it to Daytona, and we made half a lap and it blew up. And it was a brand new motor that had no time on it and this and that and the other. So we basically, we had to drop back and punt right then and there. I was in Moto America and I was going to do it. So I found somebody who wanted to buy the Harley Davidson, and they knew that it was blown up and they wanted to take it and they wanted to redo it and use it for the Bagger Racing League, who also have an air-cooled hooligan class. I don't think that's what it's called, but anyway. And RJ was riding a 937 Monster, and he said, why don't you jump on this and try this out? So I jumped on it and rode it a little bit one afternoon with our group, and really liked the bike, and said, hey man, I could race this. And he goes, I figured you would. So he steered me in that direction, and he had pretty good knowledge of the bike because he had one, and he'd ridden it for a year. So I went down to, gotta throw this out, Sanford Ducati, and Ducati Dave hooked me up with this amazing 937 Monster SP, and we took it up to the mountains, and I rode it for our week-long trip in the mountains. And what I found was the suspension was not nearly stiff enough, no matter what we did, for the way that I rode. For a normal person, I would think that it would be just fine, but when we hooliganized the mountains, and it was so we came back. I loved the bike. I actually did a lot more roll speed and practiced riding a different style, which actually helped me in the long run because um, of the way that the bike set up and the amount of horsepower the bike did. I had to learn how to carry way more speed through corners, and therefore I was able to keep up with the guys with more horsepower. I got back. Mike Wheeler up at Kyle Racing East took care of all the suspension. We put all the rear sets, Ducka bike stuff on the bike, and man, we went and rode it in Moto America. There's no engine work. The bike is stock, except for the suspension. Um, it's stock, and we went and raced and had an amazing time. Um, Working with RJ and developing the bike and him dialing in how things were going and working on riding that bike was amazing. And we went, I raced it at Atlanta with Wira and did pretty well there on it, especially for the first time I've ever been on a bike on that platform at a racetrack. Considering that I came off an XR 1200 and then went on to a 937 Monster Ducati. These are two totally different motorcycles. um, it was a lot of, there was a learning curve to it. So my first race, I missed the ridge because it just out too far away. Trying to get the bike there, and the dynamics of that were just beyond what was going on. So we went to Laguna, and I love Laguna. Absolutely enjoy the track. I've raced there before. So it was a good place to start with that bike. And I did really well. I raced and ended up 18th. And considering that, I mean, if you look at the class structure, basically the top 10 are Harley and Indian factory team guys. Nobody's touching them. They've got two bikes in the garage. They go to the track the week before, and they get to practice and run the track. And there's a crew of guys, and if they wreck the bike, they pull another one out of the trailer. It's the bikes are faster, and these guys are truly the best riders in the country. I mean, you can't discount the fact that these are the level that they ride is just beyond what most normal people are. There's a place on most applications that you fill out or forms you fill out, and it says occupation. They write road racer, and all the rest of us write something else. They that's what they do for a livelihood. I write carpenter. You know, that's what I do for a livelihood. So running 18th both days and being able to realistically, I ran with the guys in Moto America and did not feel poorly about it. That was just amazing. Let me tell you the nerves. I was ready to throw up. It's a different level than what I had raced before, and it was exhilarating. It was an honor to be there, and I looked at it as such. The whole year I looked at it as such. The whole time we were there, RJ's working on the bike and helping me develop the bike so that I can ride it better. I'm for the first time in my life, RJ's telling me, Kevin, get the hell away from the motorcycle. Go sit down and think about how to ride. Instead of me processing stuff through working on the bike, he didn't want me anywhere near the bike, which was so new to me. It was ridiculous. And it worked. And he would talk to me about how things were going and make me diagnose the bike to a degree that I never looked at before. Again, him trying to help me with a lot of knowledge that stuff I never thought about it. We were doing suspension setups for every track where and gearing setups for every track. Man, I used to go to the races and man, you brung it. That's what you raced, and you did the best you could with what you had, and there you go. Why? Because I'm not really a mechanic. So that whole situation was it was just amazing having that there. And then once I got done with the Moto America section of that, then we stayed and we raced the Arma there. We were in Lagunas. Twist my arm, I get to race 2 weekends in a row at Laguna. And by the time I had finished with Arma, I had dropped another like 4.5, 5 seconds off my time from my Moto America times. So, and I learned the bike that much better. And then we went to Mid Ohio and we did there. We went there and again developed bike development, rider development. And then we went on to Coda, and another track that I had to learn from point blank, with never being there. 23 corners, 3.75 miles, and you get 20 minutes to learn it, and then you have to qualify again with all these guys that are realistically they're your heroes. They're the guys that you look up to, and they're the guys that you follow, and you see what they do, amazing things. And then all of a sudden you're out there on the track with them, and you got to be not as fast as them, but you have to be close. And to be able to race with them is just it's truly an honor to be on the track with those guys. First of all, and I think I held my own, and it wasn't necessarily me holding it my own, but it was my team and the people like Eli and my buddy Sean and RJ, and there's all these people, my sponsors that put all this together and made this happen for me. My wife, Denise, there's so many people that helped along the way to put me and let me to be able to do that this year. It really is not a one person show. It's an entire group of people that with like minds, Chris, that put it together. And whether you're feeling bad or you're feeling good, and they're helping you and they're throwing their stuff in. Kari Ford was one of the biggest helps for me in the pits, learning the rules, knowing what to do, how to sign up for this, how to adjust that, whatever. He was my liaison between Moto America and myself because he just understands it. I wouldn't be able to do any of it without Kari there helping me. It takes a community to raise a child, and I feel like the child that this big huge community of people, again, now you're talking about all the love from so many different directions, helped me through this year. It's humbling to be loved and be helped by so many people, and I don't know why, because I'm just an old guy trying to go fast and ride motorcycles with my friends. That's really all I want to do, is I want to smile and ride motorcycles with my friends. And but some people think that I should go fast, and there you go. I go fast.
I love it, man. It's again, that's one thing about our community, man. It's such a small community, and everybody loves everybody. Everybody wants to see everybody grow and be faster and faster and faster, right? It's one of the only sports that age is not a number, right? You show up, you want to ride, you share that same love and passion. We're all in, we're game. We'll help you do whatever, right? It's that again too is not for our future to grow. It's for our whole sport to grow, right? People helping you out too, Kevin, as well. It's a fucking beautiful thing to see and watch. I tell everybody, man, I love our sport. It's so beautiful, right? It's an absolute honor to be part of it and watch it and be friends with everybody and see your guys' success and how happy you are and the energy everybody puts off. It's truly amazing, right? You had a great season, bro. I mean, absolutely phenomenal season, Kevin. Coming into your first year, you have there's a lot of things against you. Like you said, you had to learn a lot of new tracks, and RJ brought a different angle to it that you're not used to doing. Right? So look,
Eli came in with
Eli, I see
shirt
that. I
on.
laughed. That's why he's like, oh shit, I need to go throw my shirt on too.
I had to go change real quick. I fell out of place.
I love
He's got a phone booth right next door, so he just changed into.
Yeah, I had to run in
Superman.
there, dial up real quick, and I was right back.
I love it. I love it. So RJ, you, in your opinion, and through your eyes, how did the season go?
So after Daytona and having Harley let go, it was back up, regroup, rethink. I had my Ducati. It seemed like it might be a good platform. Put Kevin on it. He liked it. I felt good about it. He felt good about it. Ended up being a phenomenal platform to start out with. It was really just user friendly. The bike itself is bomb proof. And we get good horsepower out of it. It didn't take a lot of work to get it race ready. Mike Wheeler over at Kyle did a phenomenal job with the suspension on it, working with the Öhlins parts. We had some great support, with the Ducka Bike stuff. It basically just had a map in it and a race pipe, and the rest of it was just bolt-on bits. And we went Moto America racing, and Kevin adapted to the bike really, really fast and really well. He'd ridden the upright bike, the 690. He felt comfortable on it, right first cracker out of the box. So the bike became almost secondary. Then it became learning tracks, getting comfortable in the paddock, things like that. I worked in the Moto America paddock for teams, and I worked in American flat track for some teams and stuff like that. So, the grind, the drill. So you're able to kind of bring some of that confidence and comfort into the group and keep the expectations at a normal level and keep the anxiety down. Everybody gets excited when we go out to race, and I've been doing it for 35, 40 years, and I still just have a blast every time I punch the starter button. But when you go to the level of Moto America, yeah, that's a whole different thing. And like Kevin said, you're learning new tracks. You don't have a lot of time to learn new tracks. Fortunately, I've been to a couple of the tracks that we raced at, had a little bit of knowledge going into that, had a fair amount of setup knowledge. Kevin and I work really good together as far as developing how to give feedback that's constructive, that I can work with. Suspension, tires, things like that. I got a lot of tire experience, and so we were able to get dialed in usually to the tracks really fast as far as the bike setup goes and Kevin's comfort level. So then it came down to Kevin learning the tracks, and he learns tracks really fast and really well. The speeds come up dramatically from the first time we roll the bike out of the box till we load it in a trailer. So every time we put a tire on the racetrack, we went faster. We never backed up a single session out of any of them, and we finished every race. So, all in all, to basically take a stock bike right off the showroom floor and probably for less than 20 grand be competitive in Moto America with a rider that hadn't ridden most of these tracks. I really, got to give it to Kevin and the platform itself. It was a real good accomplishment, and it was an absolute blast to do. We had fun no matter what. So yeah, that's how the season went. It ended up being fun. We had some great results, great platform. Kevin learned a lot. I learned a lot. I never quit learning, over my career. I do a lot of coaching. I do a lot of rider development stuff. Um, Suspension, chassis setup things. And like Kevin said, it's all about helping people develop. I like working with younger guys, bringing them up to speed. So working with Kevin, it's teaching an old dog new tricks, and he learned them all. So it was a really great season for us.
I love it, man. I love it, and it was an honor to finally meet you guys at at Mid Ohio. And Brendan Triplett, my man, he comes on here. He says, a bunch of legends all in one place. He's definitely talking about you three, RJ, Eli, and you, Kevin. I'm just a normal guy sitting here talking, right? But yeah, I
You're a
appreciate
legend
it.
too, just so you know.
I thank you for
The
all the
legend.
love. Yeah, I
You,
appreciate
you
you guys.
you know what? One of the biggest things that for me through all of this is that if you're not having fun doing it, then you need to be doing something else. Um, with Eli or RJ, the whole time we need to be laughing and having a good time, and you know, because it's the same. I just want to go ride motorcycles with my friends and have a good time, and that's realistically how I look at racing. Is I'm just going out there to have a good time. I mean, I'll push myself, I'll learn as much as I can, but realistically, I'm having an absolute blast. I'm smiling and giggling at myself in the helmet. Um, Holy smokes, wow. You know, the whole time I'm on the track doing it, and how much faster can I go? Um, a lot of being my age for me holds me back from pushing as much as I'm probably could have when I was 22. So my skill level is, or how fast I go, is somewhat restricted by my own sense of mortality, because it hurts when you fall and you don't heal as quickly as what Eli does.
No.
And so I tend not to fall, but I can tell you with Moto America, I pushed myself to the ragged edge almost every race. Places where I felt slightly uncomfortable and laughed at myself because I made it work. Again, just I sometimes I didn't know how I made it work, but it did. Like the last race at Coda, I had an electronic problem with the bike where the apparently the ECU recognized that race tires were a different size than street tires and turned the ECU off and actually got it at uh, a failure in the system. So when I raced the second race, halfway up the line, I turned the bike off, restarted the bike, going up the hill into turn one, and was ended up being dead last and came back and passed I don't know how many people, but I passed a lot of people and I pushed myself harder than I've ridden a motorcycle in a long time, and I dropped 3 seconds off from the previous racing. So if I'm still dropping 3 seconds in a race, there's so much more out there, and I'm still just learning. And it's trusting that the bike underneath of me is willing to do what it's supposed to do, and my ability to make me not hurt myself really badly. And knowing that RJ did the right stuff and he went through and he nutted bolted the whole bike and he's going to put me on the best bike that he can, and I need to trust it that it can do everything I ask it to do. So it's a lot of this development is making sure that the person that's working on your bike has, you're putting your life in their hands at those speeds every time you get on the bike, and having the guy laugh and play and be one of your best friends is a really good way to have that trust in that bike going to happen. um and again, I can't thank RJ enough for being through this, and Vanessa as well, because she helped in the pits a whole bunch as well. Vanessa's not here, but she's probably in that truck with RJ. So I got to throw out a big props to her as well for helping out in the pits all season. Um, um, it's such, there's just so much that goes into all of it, Chris, that to make it successful, to make it worthwhile, um, to make it be such a crazy adventure and successful, and it's just an honor to be with all an honor to be with all these people that make it so. And I think that's one of the reasons I pushed myself so hard, was because I needed to be as much and push as much for me as much for all those people that came out and helped me be where I was. I needed to be the best me for them and for me, because that counts too. But for everybody, it's an example. It's an example to the young kids that, hey man, there's no reason that you can't do it. You can push harder, um, and you can be better than what you think. You just need to put the time and the effort in to do it. And it's been such a crazy adventure year, and this is just one year. Um, in shit, I got on a motorcycle the first time when I was 4. So in 50 years, this is just one year that we've talked about, which is where you said it's crazy. There's could be so much. Um, Such an amazing adventure, meeting all these people and doing all of this amazing stuff, and then like with Eli, being there when he succeeds, and helping him and seeing him, and the work, the time that you spend with him, and the effort that goes into somebody that's younger, like Andrew and Eli and whoever else, the younger kids, when you take them and you teach them, and then they listen, and they go out there, and there's the light in their eyes and the smile on their face that they got it, and they put it into effect, and it happened. And that's, I don't know, I'm rambling now. Sorry.
No, it's a beautiful thing to see. It really is. It's yeah, man, I freaking love it, dude. I do, man. I'm proud. Like I said, I'm proud of both of you gentlemen of what you guys achieved. I was there last year when Eli absolutely murdered everybody at New Jersey. Yeah, it was freaking amazing. Yeah, this year too. I mean, it's I don't want to say this. Me being a friend of all my friends that race, man, I go in there. I always have these emotions going on, right? Because I'm friends with everybody, and I want to see everybody succeed and do very well, right? And when that happens, it's just like I can't even put it into words how I feel. It's just one of the greatest feelings ever, right? I feel like I'm out there winning, right? Because they win. You know what I mean? And it's just
Exactly.
it's hard to put into words. It really is. I can't. I try to put it into words. I can't. It's just something I wish everybody in their life had the honor and the privilege to be a part of it and feel, right. It's absolutely amazing, man. So Eli, bro, let's talk about your season in 2024, brother, man.
Well, we'll do it quick because I want Kevin to talk a little more.
Yeah.
But we'll do it
real
quick. Yeah, it's good. First of all, at the start of the year, Kevin threw me on a flat track bike, which was, first for everything. And that was an awesome experience. I wish we had stuff closer to us for flat track, but a lot of the stuff up here got shut down. So when I got down there, we made it. Me and my big brother Dom, he made me a steel shoe at the shop back that he works at, and we just threw it on. Ben Glotty put some drywall screws through the steel into my road race boot, and we were going for it. And Kevin gave me a perfect platform to go out there and just try it, have some fun. And then turns out all my years of riding dirt and woods and ice kind of paid off, and we put in a good fun weekend and put some good performances in, and yeah, it was some fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'll say it many times, but I can't thank Kevin enough for everything. Just being willing enough to let me come down to Florida and stay at his house and stay with the family, and just there's not opportunities out there like that. And I enjoy my time down there. It's a staple of the year. I look forward to doing it every year, spending time with Kevin and Dee, and of course B Dog. Can't forget B Dog. And so just it's a good time, and I can't thank him enough. And I don't joke about when I say he's like a second father to me. It's like I'll call him and check in and make sure everything's all good, and then we'll BS for a little bit, and then we go on with our days. And yeah, that was it's always a good time coming down there. But the rest of the season was highs and lows, nothing, and as Kevin was talking about, you have a crew there that's willing to spend the time and money and the effort to be down there with you. And that kind of was like our Daytona situation. We had, something happened and whatever, stuff happens, but I had a whole crew come down there from up north, and you can't let them down. We have a situation, we go push through, and these guys put in hours and hours and hours of work just for me to hop on a bike. And there's countless amount of money and time, tears. Like my dad's out here crying as the bike starts for the first time, because it's just, you put everything into it, and then you look at that as a rider, and you're like, damn, now it's my job. Like I gotta make sure that all this work that these guys put in, it's like, it's on my shoulders now, and you can't let it fold you. And it was a cool experience. Daytona was good until it wasn't. Of course I had to wait until my body work came in, then I finally ordered to crash the bike. So I destroyed my own body work, which kind of sucked, but it's all good. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Good experience. The whole year was just an experience. As Kevin was saying, it's just a journey. You go through your journey, you have your ups and downs, getting hurt halfway through the year definitely put a little bit of dent into the year, but you gotta keep the smile going and push through all the bad times. And yeah, ended up at the end of the year, fourth in the Junior Cup Championship, being the old guy with the beard, I guess. That's the main Facebook thing I see. TDJU loves that.
Right.
And yeah, fourth in championship, like 3 points away from third. If I didn't get double drafted to the line in Jersey, I would have had third in championship. That's okay. But
that's racing though.
It is. That's all it is. And yeah, it was a great year. It's my teammate destroyed all of us. Absolutely destroyed all of us. But yeah, I was just happy that, even being a kid my age, Kevin can offer me a lot more than I can offer him, but it's like, small things like at Ohio. It's just knowledge that I've built up from years and years of like working with different people. Like Shane Narbone is the one that taught me that technique. You get your track map, in Moto America, they offer a lot of things, and a lot of it is they give you a lot of stuff with timing, where it's split timing, and you can break down sectors, and it's nice and easy. And you have it, you might as well put it to use. So a lot of people have different ways of using it, but my ways, I feel like it's pretty simple. And it shows things that people always struggle for. I need to gain time here, I need to gain time here. And really what this does is it shows you exactly where you need to gain time. And sure, if it's a straightaway, then it's a straightaway. You're not going to really gain time on that unless you have a factory Indian or a Harley. But yeah, it's I'm glad that even sharing about a bit of knowledge is it works. It helps.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Overall, year's good. I think I'm healed up. I'm not sure. I've been doing a lot of woods racing and hitting trees, so that hasn't been helping, but I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm just happy.
You bounce better than we do, trust me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. I had my first thud this year, I think. That was kind of the turning point. I had my first thud. I didn't have a bounce, I had a good thud, which was nice. But yeah, I'm just happy to, heading down to Florida in a few weeks, hang out with Mr. Grimmel, and we'll have some fun and have too many laughs. I don't know if there's a thing as too many, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen.
I need to plan a trip and come down there and hang out with y'all.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
have some fun. We have some fun.
I will for sure. We'll make it happen. August Nord says hello. What's going on, August?
Hey, August.
And then, of course, we got another legend in the house, Sonia Lloyd. What is up, Sonia? These guys are awesome. Absolutely.
Hey,
and
Sonia.
so are you. Yep. And then Pearl. We can't forget Pearl. The
Hi,
lovely Pearl. What is
Hi,
up,
Pearl?
She says heartthrob.
I mean, Kevin is pretty dreamy.
Yes, he is. I agree with that. And then John Scott says, can RJ work on a Robertson R22?
I absolutely can.
There you go, John. Love it. And then
Um,
August Nord says, hang on, real quick, Kevin. Did I miss Kevin's next year's plans? Better see you at Daytona. No, we have not got there yet, but just hang on tight. We'll get there.
Well, actually, I think I have a question for Mr. Grimmel.
all
Go
right.
ahead.
And overall, you've had a whole bunch of your journey. That's our whole entire race career, or from when you first started riding a bike to where we are now. What do you think is like your biggest moment where you either found that something clicked, or just what you enjoyed the most? Like what's the moment? I know there's many moments, but what is that one key moment that you think back to many years down the road that you'll be like, damn, I did that. That was a good time. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Or just something like that.
The hmm, um wow, that's hard. Um, there's like three different stages or whatever of like when I did things. When I was very young, I raced motocross, um, and I did a lot of racing with MAMA, which is Middle Atlantic Motocross Association, and racing that, and ended up one of the last years we raced. I ended up with a number two plate, and I qualified and went to Ponca City for the NMA Nationals. And being able to do that and qualify for the nationals on a different level was a pretty big thing for an 11-year-old kid. Um, so that was back then. Here now, the first time I was on a track, I can remember still touching. It wasn't that long ago, 7 years ago or something like that. Was the first time my knee ever touched the ground. So my actually road racing career is like 7 years old or whatever. Um, and I can tell you where I really fell in love with riding, and wasn't necessarily on a track. It was riding up in North Carolina in the mountains. Um, just riding through the majestic beauty of this amazing country that we live in, and being with all those guys that are just amazing friends of mine, and all of us having the same goal, which was only to have a really good time and enjoy ourselves on two wheels. And I think that was one of the biggest things that really made me fall in love with riding. Don Clark um, was the first person to talk me up going into the mountains, and I had to shout out to him, his son Cam, um, RJ. Uh, those guys took me up to the mountains and showed me what it was like to ride in the mountains up in North Carolina and Georgia, and it's one of my favorite things to do. It really, really is. Um, and it's winning my first national championship was pretty killer and stellar. As far as an accomplishment. um,
It's a big one right there.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
That's awesome.
So I took 16 years off, and in 4 years I won my first national championship, won my second national championship in 5 years, and then uh, I've got I've 7 years in, I completed my first year as a pro. So it's all kind of been, and I'm 54 years old. So it's knowing that if you set yourself at a goal that you can make it happen. Uh, it's the carousel at Coda, putting a knee down at over 100 miles an hour. That was pretty stellar. How fast can you go? The bike hasn't moved. Well, then that means we can go faster. That was like really going and racing at Coda was pretty stellar. Uh, First time I wheelied off the top of the corkscrew. Um, uh, Not knowing where I was going and turning right over the top of the last blind corner at Pittsburgh. Going through the carousel and then up over and down into Charlotte's Web for the first time, and doing that, or jumping the hump at Museum Corner at Barber. There's so many instances where you go, wow, it's so good to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is all I do, all this just for fun. It's just to smile and see how hard I can push myself, and all these little memories through the years. And it's not really one, Eli. It's a lifetime of memories of being on two wheels. Shoot, sneaking out of my house and taking my little Honda moped and sneaking off in 12 inches of snow and riding to my girlfriend's house and sneaking into her house in the middle of the night when I was 16 years old. You know, stuff you do on two wheels that just is just crazy over the years. Pulling wheelies in my graduation gown with streamers taped to my helmet when I graduated high school. It's all great, you know. The first time I learned that I could drift into a corner on a flat track bike and get it right where the bike was totally click sideways and I'm sliding sideways going, wow, I can actually do this. It works. It all adds up to this amazing, like you said, journey, you know, through, you know, there's instances all the way through that add up, and they all add up to the best time, or the one. It's all part of the one, you know. There's bright spots all the way through. I'm not sure one's better than another. You know, the first time I jumped off the stump in my dad's front yard on my Elsner 50cc motorcycle and didn't crash into a thing. It's just good memories all the way through, rather than one particular instance that is the one. They're all the one. I guess.
That's why I like that question. You know, it's always get someone. It's hard to ever pick out one. It's our,
Yeah.
you know, your whole entire journey is, whether it's even a year or freaking doing this for 50 years, you're going to have milestones all the way through, no matter what. From the moment you started and you have those first, you know, those first stepping stones that you get through and the feeling of success, to then you get up to this level where, you know, you're at a peak, and, you know, being stuck at a plateau for 2 years, and then you finally break that plateau. There's like, it's like you're relearning that first milestone all over again. So
Right.
it's always, that's why I think this sport is just so awesome. This sport gives so many opportunities to, you know, improve yourself as a person and as a rider. And, you know, I think that's why you look at all around our paddock and you see all these kids, and not all of them are, you know, you don't see many snotty little kids. You see all kids that are pretty hardworking, and, you know, they're going to put in the same effort that their parents do, or maybe not all the way, but they better put in about a good amount of it, because if they're not that type of person, you know, this creates that type of character. And yeah, I think that's why our sport is just so awesome.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. The only snotty kid you guys see in the paddock is my boy running around, right? Oh, just joking. My son's awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff Brown, thank you so much. He says, best podcast ever. All you guys rock. You, my friend, is proper mega. Oh man, that's all. So Kevin, off of that question, I got to ask you this question. In your career, who pushed you the hardest on the racetrack, right? And what did you learn from it? And how did you implement that on and off the track?
Well, I think the first answer to that question is myself. I've pushed myself the hardest on the track because I certainly am my own worst critic, and therefore realistically I do this for me rather than other people. So I'm constantly trying to push and perfect what I've done, and what I do. Um, Again, back to how many different disciplines can I try or work at so that I can be a better overall rider. Um, in saying that, I've had a bunch of different um, people that I've raced with over the years, um, that have been like my best competitors. Steve DeCamp uh, pushed me for a lot of years in Arma, um, and racing against him and striving to be better, and to be able to run with Steve DeCamp uh, was pretty amazing.
That's a legend right there.
Absolutely, it is.
He's
Um,
got some Northeast history too.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Um, a guy named Tommy who was a police officer in down in Palm Beach, um, was one of my first rivals in Pan America Superbike, and him and I constantly battled back and forth, um, in the early days of my racing. Um, Tommy Ryan of the from Kansas, he challenging with him and trying to keep up with him a bunch in racing, has been uh, strived to race with him. I didn't always succeed. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But I guess that's what the competition's all about. Um, really, it's Keith Hutchins. When I raced motocross, starting back on 50cc motorcycles. I don't know, Eli, you wouldn't, but maybe Chris, you remember Tal Jets,
Mm-hmm.
PR50s. We raced those back with Mama and Keith Hutchins and Sean Norfolk, and Mike Griffin, and my brother. We all raced them, and we were all in tight competition together, and we were kids, and we pushed against each other, um, to be better and to see who would win, you know. And we raced once a month and all over the place, and Big Berm and High Point and Romney, West Virginia, and uh, all over the Middle East. And at that age you learn to do it and to push and to racecraft at that early age, and against kids that I raced against when I was young, um, playing with my brother in on practice tracks and on the racetrack. He was always a much more he could ride better than I was. I had more balls than he did, I guess. Um, he was a better rider, and always was. But I would jump the jump, or I'd go into the corner faster, or whatever it was. It didn't matter to me if I wrecked, but 95% of the time I made it, and that's why I was faster than him. Didn't have anything to do with skill level. Um, he thought about it more. He was so growing up, racing with people that are way better than you has made me push to be a better rider. But in the end, I have always pushed myself to be the best that I could be in whatever it was I was trying to do, which is um, me being my own worst critic. You could do better, Kevin. How can you be better? How can you race better? How can you be in better shape? How can you learn to ride better? That's, who you, the race is against myself as much as anybody else. When I come off the track, I want to know, hey, did you put everything out there? Did you leave everything out there? Did you do the best that you could do? And if the answer is yes, I won. And I was okay with that. And sometimes I won the race, and sometimes I was battling for 10th or 18th. It didn't matter if I did everything I could do to be the best that I could be, and I left everything I had on the track. And sometimes I succeeded in that more than I didn't, because I was willing to give everything. Um, so I think all those people that were around me and that I got to race and to work against and work with. Um, but if you're not willing to push yourself to newer heights, then it doesn't matter who you're out there against. If you're not willing to make the pass, or you're not willing to try to push a little bit harder, then it doesn't matter who you're out there against, I guess. Um, be the best you can be. So
I love it. That was a great statement. Yeah, it was good. Um, RJ, what's up, man? Are you still with us?
I'm still here, man.
How, how's the drive, brother, man?
Long and mountainous, but it's all good. If you can drive home at the end of the day after playing hard on a flat track bike, it's a good day.
Absolutely. Do you live in North Carolina?
Georgia, Blairsville, Georgia,
Okay,
in the middle of the mountain.
I got you. I got you. So, how far are you from Road Atlanta?
About an hour and a half.
Oh, that ain't
Oh, must
bad.
be nice.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
Not
I'm
bad at
6
all.
hours. Yeah, I'm 6. That's the same distance for me to VIR. I'm about an hour and a half to VIR. So,
Yeah, that's not bad.
yeah.
You
Which
guys
I'm
live on near
excited. We're
cool
coming.
tracks.
Yeah, dude, we're coming back next year. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
yeah, I saw that.
Love it.
Not me.
Boo.
That's not my fault if
I
they would do
know.
the schedule.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
Yeah. You guys live near cool tracks, and I live near Loudon.
Loud.
that's a cool track.
I raced loud once. Yeah,
Yeah.
coming down out of the parking lot into the oh yeah, no. Ugh.
Yeah, that's my home track.
That's awesome. He said, "Ugh." Love it, dude. I love it. So, 2025, Kevin, what's going on
Yeah.
for 2025? Yeah, you and RJ, what's the plans?
Well, first of all, I'll be at Daytona. I'm not sure I'm racing Daytona at this point. Um, this next year, things are going to change a little bit. I have to say the Moto America thing was a blast. I definitely plan on racing Atlanta. But besides that, I'm not sure I'm going to do a bunch more Moto America than that one particular race. Um, that box has been checked for me. Um, the stress, the monetary strife that it takes to go everywhere and be everywhere. Um, I have a lot of fun doing club racing and some of the Weir Endurance Series, which I've been racing for the past 2 years. So I might be doing a lot of concentrating on that. I plan on spending some time with my friend RJ in the mountains, and spending a little more time having fun with the motorcycle rather than pushing myself to unknown depths of um, skill and speed. um, it's I've progressed so far that I don't want to give any of that up. But realistically, I had much more fun and enjoyed myself more at in the club racing. So it's it's probably where I'm going to head back. Not that I'm going to give up on the Moto America thing at all, but it might be more club racing this year and spending time riding in the mountains with RJ and Vanessa and doing support stuff for um, other racers, which I truthfully enjoy. Um, I enjoyed teaching and coaching, um, and yeah. So I think there's going to be some Moto America. I'll be at a lot. I'll be at races, um, but I think it's going to be more doing some weird stuff, maybe some ARMA stuff, CCS. Um, take a step back and hopefully end up with the same big smile, that kind of a thing. Not going away, just um, what I've done is I've spent the last few years checking off a lot of my boxes, and though my wife has supported me 100% through all of this. Funny story. My wife has been my cheerleader my entire life. Um, first first time I kissed Denise was like when we were 11 years old, and then she was my. We never dated, but in seventh grade we kissed one time, and then she was my cheerleader.
Spin the
Uh,
bottle.
um, she she was my cheerleader in high school with all the sports and stuff like that. And then, later in life when we got married and stuff, she's been my cheerleader at this point. So it's time to check off some of her boxes as well. So you have to, I'm in a relationship and my wife is my best friend, and I need to make sure that she's as happy as I am. So sometimes it's better to do some other things for the ones that love you than it is to think about yourself sometimes. So
Oh, it's dude, beautiful words, bro. Because it's an absolute juggling act. Believe me, I know, right?
yes,
I'm doing it. I'm living it. So it is. You're right. At the end of the day, it's the same satisfaction you get um riding or spending time with your friends. Is the same satisfaction you get out of your wife fulfilling her dreams too, and checking off her boxes, as well. So yeah,
yep.
man, I feel you on that 110%. 110. Well, I will definitely see you in Atlanta. I can't wait. I will make a trip. I come down there and spend the weekend. Meet me and Eli with you and raise hell down there in Florida and
For
hang out with
sure.
you guys. You and RJ in Atlanta. I'll drive down there, charter my bike, and yeah, we can do the same thing. I'll come and.
Well, I haven't asked RJ if he's going to Atlanta with me or not, but hey, RJ, want to go
Are
to
you coming
Atlanta
to
with me?
Atlanta? Will you be my friend?
Will you be my friend?
I think I can make it. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Maybe a
it. Hey,
Daytona trip too.
right. You guys, give me 1 second. My co-host is going to talk for a second. I got to register real quick.
All right,
Rossi,
I'll
here
take
you
over.
talk.
So,
This is scary. Scary here. Scary stuff. Eli's taking over here.
All right, Eli. What do you
So
got?
here
what do you got?
we already talked about, Kevin, we talked about how you know, trusting RJ is a huge part of your racing and what, you know, gave you your success this year. And I want to flip the script here and say, RJ, um, what's your favorite characteristic about Kevin as a rider? Working with him as you know, being the wrench this year. Like, what things made you guys click the most, and how did he help you help him?
Surprisingly enough, like I say, it goes back to teaching the old dog new tricks. But the best part about it was Kevin was very open-minded and willing to learn, not only from me but from everybody else. And seeing that progression, and you know, teaching him how to give me feedback. And then for me, I like explaining why I'm making a suspension change or an air pressure change or what I'm seeing when I look at the tire and things like that. Kevin absorbed all of that. And that was, I got some of the most satisfaction from that. I love working with younger riders and things like that. They're sponges, but it was really refreshing to have uh, Kevin be just as much of a sponge and absorb that knowledge. So that was huge for me. That really made my season.
Yeah, the rider mechanic, you know, combo is the most important combo. It's almost overlooked at times, you know. If you guys can't have that good relationship where, you know, either you're fighting over this one choice, or, you know, Kevin's not trusting his mechanic, or, you know, the mechanic's like not seeing the effort be thrown back in there, that, you know, this mechanic doesn't have to, you know, in some situations, yeah, the mechanic has to be there, they're getting paid to be there. But in some situations, it's like, as a mechanic, it's refreshing to see, you know, I'm putting all my time and effort into this. My rider's giving me all this back. This is great. You know, this is the most refreshing part of it. You know, it makes both you guys want to push harder for each other, which is just awesome.
Absolutely. And every time Kevin jumped on the bike and suited up and hit the starter button, he always gave 110%. He never pulled up short, never shorted the effort. He always put in the work. And like I say, it's nice to be able to teach, uh, and just explain stuff. I'm big on explaining why how things work, why I'm making a suspension change or an air pressure change or a geometry change or whatever it is. And it's nice to have somebody that listens and understands and wants to know, not just, hey, well, I saw you with a wrench working on the bike. What, you know, I'm explaining to him exactly what I did with that wrench on the bike and why and how it's going to affect him. And he takes it to heart. He puts his faith in me. I'm super detail oriented. Being a helicopter guy, every nut and bolt, every piece of safety wire, everything has to be right on the bike before I'll let it go out of the garage. And Kevin trusts me with his life, and I trust him to put in 110% effort. So it was just a really good relationship that way.
Yeah, doesn't get better than that.
Exactly.
So, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
you know, we'll go through. I'll ask this question to both of you. What did you this year with this really new? I guess we'll say newish relationship with RJ as a wrench. What's the biggest thing that you took away from the year with him?
That it's a team effort. I'd always done everything myself, and um, or done as much as I could on the bike myself, and I never had somebody who was there with me and shared, or in RJ's case, took over, and at times came close to beating me away from the bike. Um, uh, because the reason that I was able to concentrate on my riding and be able to succeed as far as learning these tracks and concentrating on what I was supposed to be doing, which was racing, was because RJ wouldn't let me touch the motorcycle. It allowed me to free up my head to be able to do the things that I needed to do while he worked on the bike. So what I take away from it is that it's such a teamwork sport. Even though I'm out there doing all this riding, Well, the only reason I'm able to do that is because of what RJ does before that, and allows me to be as good as I can be. So yeah, no, basically working with RJ this year um, was really about learning how to be part of a team racing motorcycles rather than a guy on a bike by himself. I guess that's the, and you know, it's, and the trust part is huge. You know, uh, it was an honor to have him there, and there's so many times that I started stressing about stuff, and RJ's just mellow mood would bring me back down. And I'm not a very excitable person to begin with, but well, I get excited about things, but I don't really.
It's the free hugs.
Right. It's, but he really helped me self actualize and to come back and concentrate on what was important, which was my riding.
Mhm.
Um, Again, the team, and yeah, realistically, the trust and the friendship, and being able to go there with him. You know,
And
that's the biggest. I think the teamwork between the relationship between the mechanic and the rider has to be such, or at least for me it did, because I had to learn so much and soak so much of it in. It was all so brand new, and he allowed me to do that, and that's very
it,
grateful that he was
it
there with me.
it's hard to definitely get that concept after being used to doing something so long by yourself. And not, if you need help, someone obviously would be willing to help jump in if you need something, but it's like you're showing up to the track, I have X and I have to do Y, and that's all I got. And now it's, you have someone that's coming in, and now your job isn't X, his job is X. You're just doing the Y part. You're just going to do the riding. So, which is definitely, and luckily, from my experience, I've grown up kind of just doing that. I started off that way with my dad, and I had to learn the other way around. I had to learn, if I am by myself, what I have to do. And it's definitely, both ways around, double-edged sword. You got to learn both sides of it. And RJ, same question. What did you take away the most from Kevin this year? What did you learn? Did you learn anything from him, or what did you take away?
I guess the biggest thing is, every racer, every rider has a different personality, and in our personality, like they work together. Um, so so that was a huge thing for me, is to have that teamwork relationship where things clicked. It was nice being able to tell Kevin to get the hell away from the bike. I've got this, and he would go get the hell away from the bike, have a seat, and update his social media. So that was huge. Um, because I'm a very focused person, and when I'm working on the bike, I don't like distractions. And Kevin, when he's racing, he doesn't like distractions. So it that was the best part, actually, was the fact that I was able to give him time to focus on riding the bike. He gave me the space I needed to make the bike right, and he gave me the information I needed to make the bike faster every time we went on the track. So that's the biggest takeaway from it, is that relationship happened, and it happened naturally. It happened organically. It wasn't anything that we had to work on or force. We didn't have to try to establish that relationship. We It happened instantaneously, and it just worked throughout the year, and that made it fun. That was a huge thing as far as bringing the fun factor back into racing again. It's I started racing early in the early '90s, and it was fun, and then it's not fun, and then it's fun, and it's not fun. This was a fun year, and it was really nice to get back to that, especially working with that kind of relationship. That really clicked. It really was a great takeaway from the season, is that we could work hard through the season, remain friends the whole way through. I don't think we said a rough word to each other the entire season, and that was pretty amazing, because I've not always had that. So that was fun. Like I say, the biggest takeaway was a fun season.
Mhm. That's awesome. But I was just thinking about this because, my brain rambles every once in a while. And, as a rider, I know from a rider standpoint, when we show up to Moto America, and Kevin, you can tell me if this is how you think the same way, but when you show up to Moto America, you're going against the best in the country. So you up your level to match theirs or the best that you can. So on the other side of that, I mean, I haven't asked many mechanics, but RJ, like for us, we bring up our level to match the best in the country. Do you feel that type of pressure, or that urge to bring your A game and maybe step up and go out of your comfort zone and try things that are a little more difficult? And it's just you're at this level where all these guys are doing these crazy things, and you kind of want to do what they're doing, and if not better.
I was pretty fortunate. I got to work with the Westby team in the Moto America paddock, and Ed Sullivan, the crew chief. Ed really passed on a lot of great knowledge to me over a few years. Still hang out with Ed. Fantastic engineer, bike builder, and so that he really, as far as Moto America stuff, he always brought his A game. So. And coming from a helicopter maintenance background, we don't have a B game in that. So every time I go to Moto America races or I'm working on a Moto America bike, I'm always bringing my A game, but I'm always looking for an advantage. I'm always willing to try something new. If I see something. That and that's the chance I get. And of course, I'll tell the rider why I did it, so he's not surprised. But that's how that works.
It's awesome.
We caught some of that because you was breaking up pretty good. You sound like an old Nintendo game.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was thinking Atari.
I was like, yeah, duck hunt and shit. Like
It's the mountains. It's the mountain service.
it is, man, especially down in Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia for sure.
Oh, the area where he is absolutely beautiful. It just amazing.
I guarantee
area.
it. I guarantee it. How far away is he? Did you say from Road Atlanta?
He was
Like an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah.
Straight into the mountains.
Yeah, it's right down. Not far from me. It's an hour and a half.
Not bad.
Love it. Yeah, not
Not
bad
bad.
at all. No, absolutely not bad. Man, this has been a lot of fun. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this almost, right? And it only seems like we've been going for like 30 minutes. That's what I love about it. Everybody just flows and has a great time. Andrew Way, you're right. Andrew Way says Mr. Block is a very good co-host. Absolutely.
Try my hardest. I mean, with my plans for next year being up to the air, maybe this is where I go. You never know.
Hey, you're always welcome, Eli. I already told you that, man. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And then Pat
What up,
Sheridan
Rossi?
says, "What's up, superstar?" He's talking to you guys, not me. And Eli says, "What's up, Rossi?"
My Nana's watching.
He says his Nana is
Watching.
watching.
Hi,
Yeah.
Nana. How we doing?
Hey, Nana.
Hi, Mama.
Listen here,
my
Bucko.
mama don't never get on
Next
Facebook hardly
year,
ever.
you better.
Here, you
You're
tell
back.
Tell him.
So, yeah, it was interesting because it when I was with myself, I would come and say, "Well, the bike's doing this," and then I would go around the paddock and I would talk to a couple people and ask if I would have to ask people's opinion on what should happen, and then I would make adjustments to the bike myself. And I did very little suspension stuff. Mostly because my bikes didn't have suspension setup or anything on them. The 690 was set. The bikes were basically sprung for my weight, and the Harley was just sprung for my weight. And there you go. You basically there was no real setup to do, because there wasn't much you could change in the track, and certainly not in between sessions. So working with RJ and saying, hey, you know what? Under braking when I'm coming in, the front's moving a little bit. And he would ask me some questions about what was going on and where my body was and stuff. And he would go over to the bike and he'd do some stuff and move some stuff around, and he'd come back over and he'd talk to me about what he did, and then we'd go out and we'd try it again. And 9 out of 10 times it was better. The bike handled better. It allowed me to ride the bike better, and we would dial it in. And that's basically what we could do all the time. It was amazing having somebody with the knowledge to be able to work at that level in my corner. You know, it's
That's awesome.
it did. You know, you grow up with Eric there in your corner the whole time, and you know what a great resource for you is, you know, when growing up and having the ability to have all that stuff happen. I don't know if it was. I don't know if you know how much of a crazy advantage you had over other people having somebody like your dad in your corner. You
Yeah,
know.
it's big. Oh, I know Rossi has something to say. What was Rossi saying?
Hang on. Rossi, Eli wants to know what. Tell Eli what you was gonna tell him.
Next year, you better get first.
Hold up.
You better get first.
I still have this.
Yeah.
There you go.
I want to see another one.
Yeah, I mean it's a little old. It's from 23. Yeah, that's it. But I will try for you, Rossi. If I'm racing next year, I'll make sure that I try to get another one for you.
If you do, that's super.
I mean,
That's
it would be real
mega.
nice.
That's mega. That's
Super
mega.
proper.
Yes, probably mega.
Super
Cool,
mega.
cool. Well, I'll keep that. You know what? I'm gonna write that down. And
And
if
my
I win,
4 girlfriends,
four.
yeah, my 4 girlfriends. They're gonna be like, yes.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Good deal.
Uh,
Well, you have
What?
a good night, Rossi. All right.
I'm gonna be in here for the rest of the time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
You gotta love them, right?
Right?
Man, not one, not two, not
Dude.
3, but 4.
He got that from Jersey. All the Moto America girls, and it was the first time I met Kevin Rodeo's daughter.
Oh, Nat. Yeah.
Brain fart, yeah, Nat. I was standing there. She's like, "Hey, I know you. You had my dad on your podcast." I was like, "Nat, what is up?" And then Ross says, "Dad, I got to get a picture with all 4 of my girlfriends." And he walks straight over to him. He looks at him. He says, "All 4 of you girls are my girlfriends right now." And they just started laughing, of course, you know. And then so.
Yo,
Those
I
are
mean,
his
if that's his girlfriend's, then yeah, I mean, I'll be fine with him cheering for me next year.
Right. Eli said, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. I didn't know who we were talking about at first.
It's hilarious. He's got my
Yeah.
wig on.
But yeah, I think as we were talking about before, it took me a while to realize how lucky I was, and I think it really took me until when my dad had his accident to really realize what effort really. I know what effort I saw the effort that goes into it, but I never really had to do it myself until the day that my dad had his accident, and I had 3 bikes sitting there, and I had 4 races. Looking at all of it, and nothing's done, and you know, it was all on me. So yeah, definitely realizing that, you know, and luckily for me at that moment, all the bikes had, you know, suspension was set up, everything was perfect. I just had to do the rest of the work. You're where, you know, having that solo effort where you're developing a bike by yourself when, you know, you might not know about, you know, suspension or tire pressures, or you have no one to ask. And yeah, no, I've definitely been very blessed to have that as a starting point, and you know, learn that knowledge, and you know, put the time in and study the sport, study what, you know, is going on, and feel what's going, and luckily be able to feel it. You know, I know if my dad changes one thing, I can be able to kind of feel it, and then I can use that into my future. So yeah, definitely very good starting point.
Awesome.
Yeah, I made it back and I stopped in Helen, Georgia, just so you guys can hear me.
Yes.
I
You sound
appreciate
so
it.
much better, man. Not
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds
not like
back down. I know it's horrible.
Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. And I was like,
I can't believe you don't have a translator for that.
dude,
Wah, 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 wah,
I'm
wah.
sure they probably do. I'm sure it's on the app somewhere for sure. Rossi. He's cracking me up, man. He keeps whispering.
Nice.
Rossi, are you going to take over the podcast one day? Yeah. Are you sure?
With all of his girlfriends on it.
The dude, Eli said you got to have all 4 of your girlfriends on it.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Good deal.
Listen, real quick story. We're at Jersey. He's on Yondel's little 50.
Shout out to my 4 girlfriends.
Dude,
I don't know their names, but I know they're my girlfriends. No
there
idea.
you go. Right. So
No idea who their names are, but they're my girlfriends.
coming in as you come over the bridge, they had the
They
instant
snuck into a
360.
pool.
Anyway, you come down that they have the girls that wave that are parking there by P1 and General Park and all that. Rossi pulls up beside me. He says, "You see that girl over there waving all the cars in? I'm gonna ask her if she wants to go for a ride with me on this motorcycle." And he literally pulls up. He's 11, pulls up next to her, looks at her, and says, "Hey, girl, jump on the back of this bike with me." And she was crying, laughing. She's like, "I can't. I'm at work." He says, "Well, I'll catch you later then," and takes off. And I was like, "Dude, it's freaking awesome."
And it begins. And it begins.
Damn, I need to learn from Rossi, I guess. Damn.
Dude, I'm telling you, you need to hang out with him
Bro,
during the
me-
weekend.
Then y'all know when we first met, we snuck into a pool, and the old man who was there, we snuck in there for all 3 days. And on the last of this old man chased us around with a wet towel. I was like, "Get on my pool."
They did do that at VRR. Him and Yondell and Kayla kept stinking in the pool up there at the.
That is a nice pool.
Dude,
that is
bro,
a
they kept getting up
real
there
nice
and they
pool.
kept kicking them out. But all 3 days, him, Kayla, and freaking Yondell up in there sneaking in. It's hilarious.
And old man
That
got
is a
so
really
mad.
good pool.
He said the old man was chasing around with a wet towel, mad as hell. That's what he said. He said, "Daddy, he was mad as hell."
Just around a wet ride. I was like, "Hey,
Oh, I
get
freaking
out
love
of
it,
here,
dude.
man."
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Okay.
Right on. Well, listen, man, we're almost 2 hours into this. I'm gonna get off here in a minute and go hang out with this guy, but before bedtime because it is a school night. But we're definitely gonna sit down and do a part 2 to this. We will have Eli obviously back on as a co-host. Eli will come back on and do because I need to sit down with Eli again and we got some things to talk about. For sure. and RJ, dude, we definitely got to schedule our one-on-one. Same thing with Kevin. But this has been absolute a lot of fun. Thank you so much for my sweatshirt again, Kevin. It's freaking amazing.
You're more
I
than
loved
welcome. Thanks for having me on. This has
Yeah,
been fun.
on, Chris.
Say say that again, RJ.
I said thanks for having us on, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, listen, the honor's on mine. I'm trying to talk, but my son over here keeps trying to stab me with this Lego butterfly knife, as you guys can see. You realize this is live, right? And they're witnesses to this.
Hey, I'm coming after your toes. I'm gonna cut them off.
Oh, my
You,
toes.
you see my
Wow.
lightsaber?
That's how I make
I'm
my
cutting
money
toes
these
off.
days.
Yeah, you can't cut off nobody's toes with your lightsaber,
You better
fool.
watch out.
Hey, I need my foot funder money.
Yeah, his birthday is this weekend. We're having his
Oh,
party.
it's my birthday right
You
here.
know, he's got cousins coming in town. It's gonna be a
Happy
busy
early birthday.
weekend, dude.
Yep,
Yeah,
but
I got.
as I said, nobody's spending the night except like 2 people. Because last time we had everybody in the family tree.
We did. It was utter freaking chaos, bro. Yeah,
Never
I
again.
love it, but nobody wants to help pick up his room. It's freaking like a tornado goes in there.
And they go in there. They
And Rocky's like,
literally,
"Not this year, Daddy. Only 2 people staying. That's it." I start laughing. I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Chill party. You do you, boo boo.
and literally, it's literally like the Tasmanian devil was in my room.
You is the Tasmanian devil. What are you talking about? Look, did you tell everybody you're getting? Tell everybody what you're getting for Christmas.
A dirt bike. I'm finna pull up, get all the ladies. Pick up my 4 girlfriends.
All I'm saying is, Moto America, you're in trouble next year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, 110. I'm better.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on that. Yeah, that's freaking awesome, man.
Good for you.
Right.
Right?
Well, I want to thank you again for letting me hop on and co-host again. I love these two, and
Thank you.
I wanted to hop on and hopefully create some special moments and express my I'm just thankful. That's all it is. Glad that my dad came across paths with Mr. Grimmel, and it created this relationship, and now we get to have some fun on dirt bikes in a few weeks.
Yes, we do.
I'm jealous. I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous. I really need to plan a trip down there and hang out with and stay. Now, listen, I'm inviting myself to stay with Kevin. Listen to me. I'm
You're
just
more than
coming to
welcome
stay.
there, sir.
I appreciate it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna come and crash, right?
I mean, you should do that, the SFL mini GP 3-day camp and kind of break in that new suit you got back there.
Dude, bro, I'm telling you. Well, I was supposed to go to the Heron compound in October, but they had that big tornado come through and they canceled it.
It kind of got beat up around here.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I'm just glad
you
all
need
my,
to get
all my
you
friends.
need to come down, hang out.
I will.
Ride some motorcycles with us.
I will, 100%.
For sure.
100%. I will make it happen. I mean, I got your number. I don't have
Yes,
RJ's,
sir.
but I definitely got yours. I'll call you and we'll definitely work it out. Elisa says, you did great, Eli. We'll see you soon in Florida. Papa and RJ love y'all, and we love you, Elisa. Thank you.
Is that
Thanks,
We'll
Allie.
see you, Allie. We'll see you soon.
who?
Is that what, Rossi?
Levy's girlfriend?
No, that is not Levy's girlfriend.
No,
That's Elisa.
No.
You need to clean your keyboard. It's very, very, very dusty.
Well, I need to
Damn,
clean my
exposing
keyboard.
them already.
Bro, dude, I need to, right? You're right. I tell you what, go get the Swiffer or the Duster for me right now.
What?
You see, I moved on that one, right? Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, daddy.
I'll grab
Okay,
my
sure.
I love it, dude. He's
I
like,
have a little
okay. But yeah, listen, this has been an absolute lot of fun. It's always an honor, Eli, to spend time in our short lifetime together and have you co-host, man. I really enjoy it. You always bring a different dynamic and element to it, right? Because you're a super fast legend racer, and you ask questions that I normally don't think of asking. You bring a different, unique angle. Kevin, absolute honor to sit down with you finally after all this time. Me and you've been going back and forth for a hot minute, but it happens, right? And RJ, thank you for my free hugs there at Jersey, and sorry for Jersey, Mid Ohio, and sorry for mistaking you for Kevin, because I did. Eli went straight up to him and was like, Kevin, what's up, dude? Simcoe was fine to meet you. Turn around, he's like, I'm not Kevin, I'm RJ. I said, well, give me a hug anyway. Yeah, that's how our relationship started.
That was priceless at that point. And you probably missed the best part of it when Kevin gave me a big old hug from behind on Moto America on camera, and Eli caught it.
I still have that photo. I love it. That was in the back of Andrew's thing. That was funny as hell.
It's freaking awesome. I love it, man. Yeah, it's I can't wait. We'll definitely plan a bringing my monster up. It's first time Monster's been live on the podcast. This is our cat Monster. He's a freaking monster.
He's so heavy.
And he's big and he's an asshole. I ain't gonna lie. But we love him all the same, right? He's a great cat. He's just he's a cat. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, he's cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. But yeah, listen, thank you everybody that watched this podcast live. If you miss it, it'll be on Spotify, iHeart, all that good stuff tomorrow. If you want to immediately rewatch it, you can go to my YouTube channel, on my Facebook, Chris Simcoe channel, and immediately rewatch it. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. If you guys have not, please go to my Spotify, Podbean, hit that like and subscribe bell. That's right, Rossi. You tell them, right? All that good stuff.
Notifications so you can be updated on the latest.
This kid watches too much YouTube already.
Dude, no, I'm telling it's because you listen to this freaking daddy all the time.
Follow on TikTok and subscribe.
Well,
on
Kevin,
TikTok.
if anyone ever wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
Yes.
You have backflip
Facebook
off the
Messenger is
Occupy
probably the easiest way to get me. Kevin Grimmel. It's Facebook, and then message me up. I answer my messages. I usually post on what I'm doing, what's coming up, where we're gonna be, when we're riding. All that usually happens on Facebook. It's very easy. I have Instagram, Racer 97K. It's connected to the Facebook thing. I'm old. I still use Facebook a bunch.
I mean, I'm 22 and I use Facebook too much every day.
That's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
RJ, sorry, let me go ahead, Kevin. My bad.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, RJ.
If anyone needs any helicopters fixed or whatever fixed, if someone needs a washer machine fixed, I probably think you can fix
Racer
that
support at the track.
too. Anyone, how can I reach out to you?
I'm looking to do some more rider coaching and racer support, whether it's for young guys in Moto America or whatever. AFT, turning wrenches, like I say, rider support coaching, just helping people along. I'm available. I can be found at rjgarlich@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. I'll find you there.
Absolutely. I love it. And Eli, the legend Eli, tell everybody where they can find you.
Right
Man,
there. He's sitting in that chair.
I'm here. I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid chasing a dream. That's all I am. I'm gonna be Eli Block _ on Instagram, Eli Colby on Facebook, because Eli Block is not a real name, I guess. Thanks, Facebook. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's a block party.
It's a block
is a
party.
block
Welcome to the
party.
block party.
Welcome to the show. I freaking love it. And again, thanks everybody for all the love and support. Big shout out to Bison Track, Chef Eats. I don't see why anybody hadn't ordered freaking Chef Eats, but you need to. Flying Eyes Optics, SFL Mini GP, RD Racing, Jake Marks, Vet2 Track, 64 Degree Racing, Ghetto Customs, The Clothing King, STG, Road Racing Fun. I need everybody to go donate for the air fence. It's imperative we have that, so please go donate. Anybody looking to buy a new bike or anything, look no further than Carnes Performance in Pennsylvania. And if you're not wearing a KYT, I don't know what you guys are doing. So big shout out to KYT, right?
KYT.
You should
Top
buy
brand
one of
right there.
these.
Bro, I tell everybody, I really do. Rossi, are you showing it? I don't have any more of those shirts. I got to get more, Rossi.
You should buy them.
I don't have
They
none
have
to
stock.
sell.
I can't buy them.
Yeah, I don't have none to sell. I can't buy them.
When he gets more, you should buy it.
Okay.
And it's very soft.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. It's funny because I'll get stickers in. He wants to go around the neighborhood and knock on people's door and sell them Pin the Gas podcast stickers. I ain't gonna say no. Have at it, boo boo. You do
Enterprising
you,
young
right?
gentleman. There you go.
That's what I said, right? Absolutely. But yeah, listen, y'all stay on with me just for 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor to sit down with all three legends on the podcast today. Kevin, of course, my man Block, and RJ. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, we'll see you this
This is
weekend.
wait.
What?
This is special.
Take it easy now.
I only showed up at the end of it. You know why?
Rossi, say
can't hold
something to
this for so long.
everybody.
I can't
That's
hold
right.
this for so long.
Everybody, listen to me very closely. Okay.
My fingers are cramping.
Everybody who's watching, if you don't listen to me very closely, you're never.
My fingers are
allowed to
cramping, Rossi.
All right. So you better listen. All right. So, everybody, I want you to do this. Everybody, go to chat and say,
Oh my god.
Pin the
Come on.
Gas podcast is the best podcast you've ever listened to in your ears. And when you do that, do it. And guess what?
What?
You'll get a congratulations by me.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you might as well do that.
Nah.
I mean, gotta do it.
Eli said, "This I got to ride now." From hold on, Rossi, I got to go.
My